Everyone, I'm Jim Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Well, not just any edition, it's our 700th edition, and I'm so glad you could be with us for it. Coming up later, our infamous roundtable will tackle all sorts of controversial topics, so stay tuned for that. Between now and then, some great guests and important information coming your way. We'll talk about some special job training for a new demand that's out there in the workplace. We'll tell you about internships going on at Inmar, and we'll meet with the founder, owner of Woods of Terra. That and much, much more. But first, we turn our attention to my alma mater, UNCG. And it's UNCG is 125 years old, and my first guest believes that I was there in the beginning, which I'm not that old. But next to me is a man who is also not that old, Dr. Franklin Gilliam, Chancellor of UNCG. Welcome, sir.
Mr. Longworth.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
And now, you came from UCLA, and that's just almost 3 years ago.
I'm going into my fourth year.
Yeah, and I'm thinking UNCG has had record growth. There's this new branding campaign. We'll show them the T-shirt in a second, this shirt. But there's a lot going on, and I'm just wondering, bring me up to speed.
Well, first, let me congratulate you on your 700 show.
Thank you.
That's quite a record. We're at a critical moment in the university's history. It's what I've talked about as an inflection point. Either we're going to really take off and be serious about it, or it's going to fizzle out. Record growth, record number of students on campus. As you know, your beloved McKeever building has come down.
Yeah.
And the new one is going to pop out of the ground here soon in its place. We've added, as you know, Spartan Village 2, a new set of residence halls on Gate City.
Right.
And they have stores and we are hoping for Best Way Market to open soon, and restaurants for the students.
Really extending the community.
Really extending the community. There have been jobs for the community. So the campus is really at a great point. We have 5 conference championships last year, which is pretty exciting.
That was exciting.
And we've had really record academic progress. We're one of 2 UNC schools that met all 5 of our performance metrics this year. 2 of 17.
Congratulations.
And we exceeded the 5-year mark in 3 out of the 5. So
yeah.
We feel very good about it.
Well, I'm proud to be a Spartan, and speaking of being a Spartan, you have a new logo, and I know Brian has some footage to show you of the new logo, but I thought I would also hold this sweatshirt up that Eden brought to me. And now, let me just ask you, I don't mean to be cute about this, but is this just a neat design, or does this also represent where you want to take us?
Well, it's part of an entire brand refresh. One of the things we did do is we kept Minerva. We added a color, gray, and we now have a new brand message. So the idea was to meld the legacy with the future. We consulted a wide range of folks. Part of our problem, I've always felt, has been a case of identity or lack thereof. It's not a mistaken identity, it's a lack of identity. And we have a great story to tell. And in this case, in the iconic sense, the look and the feel are meant to show we have a connection to our past, but we're forward-looking.
Now, you also have this new slogan that says, "Find your way here." I want you to elaborate on that, and does it have anything to do with construction traffic on I-40?
Well, I think we won't take credit for that, but what "Find Your Way Here" is really the core message of our university, which is no matter who you are, you seem to be able to find a place. It's not a campus dominated by one group or another,
right,
by Greeks or athletes or theater people, like a lot of campuses are. People find their place. They find their wow there. They find their inspiration. They find their career.
You're right.
And so find your way. It could be find your way there, right? Find your here could actually mean the campus. And we think it gives us a lot of flexibility, but at the same time, really capturing the essence of the university.
We have a little bit of time left. Tell me what's coming up for the upcoming year.
Well, as you know, one of the things we're proud of, we're heavily engaged in the greater Triad community. We'll be heavily involved with the North Carolina Folk Festival, as we have been. We've been at LeBauer Park all summer with Spartan Cinema.
Right.
We have a great concert and lecture series. We have Alan Alda coming up,
That's
Audrey
right.
McDonald, Herbie Hancock. And we, of course, our soccer teams are playing now, men's and women's. So we're really excited and look for more development along Gate City Boulevard.
Well, I tell you what, this is great. I can't wait to go put this on. This is neat sweatshirt here. Has the new logo on there. It's very strong. Looks like it's very aggressive. I like it.
Well,
And
we're aggressive, so we got to be.
I know you're aggressive. That's what I like about you. You came from UCLA. You took that UCLA Bruin spirit and just. Now, up on screen is the website, uncg.edu. Please check that out. Lots of good stuff on there and that you can find out about the university. So think about going there. If you happen to be a parent and you have a child coming up through the ranks, we want you. All right. Thank you, Chancellor.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
We'll be right back after this. Now, on Triad Today, I always like it when this lovely lady can stop by for a few minutes and tell us what's going on at NMAR, and she's right here with us on my right. Sharon Joyner-Payne is Executive Vice President of Corporate Communications and Great Teams. Speaking of teams, that's what we're going to talk about at NMAR. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. And congratulations on your 700th
Thank
episode.
you. I'm 700 years old today. And a lot of parents, I'm thinking about back to school stuff, and you sent me an email the other day, you and
Yes.
Shannon. We were talking about back to school things, sort of. Well, parents send their kids off to school or back to school at this time of year, college. And in a way, you and David and everybody at NMAR are sort of feel that same way in terms of your interns going back, right?
We do. We just finished up our intern season. We had approximately 20 of some of the brightest and best interns through the summer that came from many of our universities here in North Carolina. So about half of those that we had were in the software engineering and technology group. About 80% of them came from schools, university and colleges here in North Carolina. And the exciting part is we offered about 70% of them actual full-time jobs once they graduate.
Get out of here.
Yes, we did.
So you're already recruiting them.
Yes, already.
Well, that's the whole, we should end the segment right there because, that's the whole success right there. But now, David, when he's been on the show before, David Mounts, the CEO, has talked to me about, and you have too, about how the interns get in there and they learn some really neat things. And yet, he says, but we learn a lot from them too. What does he mean?
Well, NMAR has a listening and learning culture, and David Mounts, our CEO, who you know well, challenges us every year to learn 2 years of knowledge in 1 year because everything's changing so fast in the world. So that we know in order to keep up, we have to listen to our associates, our teammates, the community, our clients, our prospective clients, and those young interns who really are our leaders because they have great ideas to share.
We've all read things from pundits and various folks in newspapers, magazine articles, usually old guys like me, and they'll sit around thinking about the good old days and say, oh yeah, those young people, those interns, those millennials and whatever, they're not as good of workers. What's been your experience?
Yeah, see, I think that every generation would say that they're misunderstood to some degree because we're kind of the collective experiences of growing up, and I think millennials are no different. And so I choose to focus on the positive, though. There are some really great things about them. For instance, they are very highly educated. They care a tremendous about the place that they work and also the people they work with. They care about making sure that they have meaningful work and that they make a difference. They challenge us on the fact that they want flexibility and they want immediate feedback, which we have to make sure we have great coaches as their managers to give that feedback, and they just want to be heard.
Yeah, they really want to communicate on that and have that sense of family and everything. Now, you sent me something in an email and said something about generational diversity. Now, that's way over my head. I want to understand exactly what you mean by what are the benefits to that approach? What does it mean?
Well, when you have that, that means that you have a nice mix of not just millennials, but also your Gen Xers and your baby boomers, which is what I am. So you have that as diversity of thought and diversity of experience. And that really is great because what happens is you have Gen Xers and baby boomers who have lots of work experience, and they can in turn help mentor the millennials and help them bridge the old and the new in a very supportive and non-judgmental way. And on the other hand, millennials can also be mentors to the rest of us in that they have the technology, they have very fresh ideas that make us think about things differently, and we saw that in our projects, presentations that they did. Because what happened is they came in and presented their project for the summer and they were outstanding. And all of us that were part of it, myself, our CEO, our Chief Product Officer, walked away learning some brand new things, and it's that kind of diversity that is important.
Well, if we could all just feel as young as they feel too, that would be part of it. But I really appreciate what you're doing, all over with you have the girls robotics team and you have all sorts of things going on at NMAR, but this intern thing has really been a success. As you said, you offered, what percent did you offer jobs to?
70%.
70%, wow. That's just fantastic. Up on screen is nmar.com is the website. I'll say it again for the radio listening audience, nmar.com. Please check that out. And Sharon, thanks for all you do.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. We
Great
always
success.
appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Great.
congratulations again.
Thank you. Great success. And when on my 1,000th show, I'll come be an intern for you.
Okay, sounds great.
That's right. We'll be right back after that. On Triad Today, so glad you could stay with us, and I'm always glad when these two lovely ladies can come and visit. I'm not sure you've been here together that often, but we get them together today. On my immediate right, Tempe Albright is Skills Training Manager for Goodwill Industries in Northwest North Carolina. Next to her, our good buddy Sandy Jolly, who's Coordinator of Veteran Services Program. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tempe, let me start with you. Now, there's always something going on at Goodwill in terms of helping people and training them and helping them to get into the workforce and get back in the workforce. There's something new going on in terms of training classes. What's new?
Well, we got a fairly new training, which is our unarmed security training. And we're always looking for high demand occupations where we can give them the short-term training to get people working.
This would be for unarmed security guards, people that want to be unarmed security guards.
Right.
That's interesting. Now, Sandy, now that ties into the veterans program kind of, because I think some gentlemen were hoping to get on the show sometime with this Mid-Atlantic company. They're both either police or veterans. What is Mid-Atlantic Security, and how are you partnering with them?
Well, we've actually been working with them since the beginning of last summer when they had their first class, and the whole class was veterans. So we try to make sure that all of our veterans that are interested attend the class, because they get state certification to become.
Sure.
Right now, I've got 6 veterans that are working full time in the security field because of this class.
And they're all, they come out, they're very disciplined and willing to work, and I know you see a lot of the men and women in that situation and can make great security guards too. How has that partnership benefited the training program overall, do you think, being able to team up with the Mid-Atlantic?
It's been great for us, especially with some of our recently transitioned veterans, because they're familiar with those skills and what's needed, and they're ready to go.
Ready from the get-go. Tempe, what kind of things does the training provide? Can you give me an example of one or two things that they might offer that maybe they need to learn to know to be able to be a good unarmed security guard?
Professionalism is a big thing. And also the training itself gives them the license and register with the state, which is a requirement. All unarmed security guards are supposed to get this.
I didn't realize that. I knew
yeah.
if you were armed, it's a different thing. But if you're unarmed, they still have to be cleared and everything, right?
Yes, right.
Is there a big? I'm getting the sense from both of you that there's kind of a big demand for that. Where would we see unarmed security guards that there's such a demand for it? I know we didn't rehearse this or anything. I'm just curious. Why is there a demand? Where would it be?
They're everywhere. They're at the hotels, motels, businesses, Goodwill.
Yeah.
Anywhere, everywhere.
Places where, yeah. And in some cases, people will hire security guards that are armed, and that's a whole different thing. But this is a whole, kind of like a whole new industry of having a train. So you saw that there was a niche there, and you stepped in, especially helping the veterans. What or when is the next class? I know I forgot to ask you that. When is it coming up?
Next class is September 18th, and what the person needs to do, we have our placement test every Monday at 12:15. Come in, take the placement test. We'll give out more information. Of course, we are going to do background checks because we need to know about the criminal background check. And, and if there's any question, I just contact Bill or Lester, who are
At
owners.
Mid-Atlantic, yeah. Okay. Now I want to put up the Goodwill NWNC.org website too, so you can get some more general information. Goodwill NWNC.org. Tempe and Sandy, thanks for all you do to help people get back to work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today. I'm looking down to save my life here. You'll find out why in a second. When Eddie McLaurin came here before, he was in full costume. I said, don't come in full costume. You'll scare me. I don't want to be scared. So what does he do? Lori, do we have here's Eddie McLaurin. Can we see, you have a snake with you. This is what is it, a python?
It's a Burmese python,
Burmese
yes.
What's his or her name?
Her name is Spawn.
Spawn.
Yes.
And how big is she?
She's about 12 feet and about 40, 50 pounds right now.
And you'll see her at Woods of Terror when you're all made up as Bone Daddy, right?
Yep, she'll be there every night.
Carry her around. I know I'm not supposed to ask this of women, but what's her age?
She's about 5 years old now.
5 years old. And how much does she weigh?
About 40 pounds.
Has she ever eaten a talk show host?
Not yet.
Wow, that's a big snake.
Yeah.
But seriously, when you go around the Woods of Terror, and I forgot to mention you're the owner and founder of Woods of Terror
All right.
out on Church Street, which has been around. It's a real tradition around this area. She goes around with you
Yep, take her everywhere in the Midway with me.
when you're in full makeup. Now, when is the new season open up? Before I forget, I'm so enamored by the snake here, by Spawn. When does the new season open up?
We will be open September the 15th. That's a Saturday night, and that'll be our first night open to the public.
And then they'll need to check the website and stuff to sort of see what the regular schedule is in terms of which days, and then you get full bore as you get closer to Halloween.
That's right.
What, any new attractions, in case somebody says, well, I went to Woods of Terror last year, it was great, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, but they'll have the same thing. Well, you don't, right?
Well, every year we try to improve a lot. We've added a big part onto the back of our Texas house, and we've done a new facade on our cave entrance. And we have a lot of new surprises. I try to add something new and creative in every attraction.
And you impact the economy in a couple ways. For one thing, you hire a lot of people. How many, if you counted monsters and workers and everybody, what does it come to?
We usually run a staff of about 175 while we're open.
Wow. And I know some of the merchants have commented, because I wrote a column about this one time, that you really help their business sometimes during the season, right?
Yeah, I know the store up the road, their business increases about 33%, and I know that the restaurants stay packed. You know, every night I'm open, everything down there is hopping too.
Do they sell snake food?
Nope.
No, that's right. Well, I don't even want to get into what she eats. But anyway, now also on a serious note, you've always been big on community events and charities, and every year you try to do something different along that line. I think you've got something coming up in October?
Yeah.
What is that?
We're going to be doing a trunk or treat, and we're going to have some MS kids come out, and we're going to welcome anybody that's the kids that are handicapped, and we're going to have an hour or two before the public comes in.
That's great.
And they'll be able to go around and get candy, and we might bring out Spawn here and maybe a couple of mild characters and try to have a good time, and we'll take pictures and make memories.
I just think that's great that you do that for the kids with MS and those with disabilities. What about, now, you and I have also talked about, speaking of kids, you told me one time in a conversation that the Woods of Terror, you want everybody to come, but it's not for everybody, right?
Definitely. You know, if we say 13 and under probably shouldn't come. There are some kids that watch a lot of horror movies and they're prepared, but you know, we're not out there to terrify little kids. We're out there to have fun for adults and make good memories. So if they're under 13, you know, use some good parental judgment, and we want to make good memories, not bad ones.
Yeah, your mom, Lynn, we can't see her, but my wife, Pam, and your mom, Lynn, are out in the audience because they wanted to see if the snake was going to eat me. I think that was the whole purpose of them coming
what it
today.
was?
But your mom, Lynn, really helps out around there. You're recently married. Your wife is a big part of the operation out there. Does anything ever scare you, by the way? I've never asked you that.
The scariest thing I've ever done is funny is the Richard Petty driving experience. I did the ride-along program, and the guy said, hop in the seat, and we went down in the first turn about 180, and I thought we was going to eat that wall up. I was like, whoo, that was scary.
That's right. My father-in-law went through that too, and after he got out of the car, they said, Jim, would you like to try it? I said, no, I was gone. I didn't want to try that. I was kind of like that, like I am around Spawn. But Spawn's cute, and I appreciate you bringing her and everything. Up on screen before we run out of time, woodsofterror.com is where you can get all sorts of information about Eddie's place. And it's a real tradition around the Triad there in Greensboro. Eddie, thanks for coming. Thanks for bringing Spawn.
right.
Can I touch Spawn?
Thanks for having me. Sure can.
Let me just touch Spawn
Yeah.
real quick. Or can we see? Just in case this is my last show, I just wanted to, golly, that's a powerful snake.
She's muscular.
She is muscular. She's like me. I'm ripped.
That's right.
All right. Well, we'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today. Time for our roundtable. On my right, but always the political left, that mad about town, or did I say mad about town? You're not mad about town.
Mad about town.
Yeah, the award-winning broadcaster journalist Ogie Overman. Next to him is Dr. Don Martin, professor at High Point University and vice chair of the Forsyth County Commissioners. Next to him is president and founder of Helping Hands Consultants, Mr. Keith Granberry, who goes around the nation getting people registered to vote. And guys, I think before we get started, we need to give ourselves applause because this is our 700th program. So, yeah, 700 shows. And I thank all you guys. I really thank you guys. Ogie's been here since 2005, Keith 2006, Don 2014. We thank Ursula and Dave and everybody. And I want to give a shout out to the crew, Lori Bates and Brian Davis and Richard Smith and Jim Robbins and Dean Stoker and Ricky Pierce, Fletch Good, our web guy, and a special shout out to Thomas Cormier, who does guest relations. Thomas was here since show number 1, Ogie. Did you know that? How about that?
And don't forget J. Paul, the late and great J.
The late Jay Paul started out as our director. And a shout out, Keith said he ran into a young lady at A&T, Jennifer Duffy.
That's right.
Says she
Miss
watches the show all the time.
Yeah, she's one of your biggest fans.
Since the
man.
beginning.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Well, that's pretty neat. And you didn't pay her to say that, did you?
No, she likes your hair.
All right. Likes my hair. All right, guys, let's start with something kind of weird and serious and rowdy, and that's the crowd that took over. I'm assuming they were all students at Chapel Hill the other night, and they just went in there and tore down the statue of Silent Sam, honoring a Confederate. He's not a Confederate general. He was a symbol to those who died in the Civil War. Any thoughts on this? Should they be expelled if they get caught, Ogie?
I don't know, Jim. We talked about this once before, and I said, I'm inclined to give Silent Sam a pass. After reading the inscription that guy said, that speech he gave at the dedication of that statue that was on the statue, I'm inclined to say I'm kind of glad they tore it down.
Yeah, Don.
Well, I think as far as the students go, I think there has to be some kind of repercussion for destruction of property, but it may not be a serious one, but something should happen.
Keith, expel him?
I don't think the students should have gotten that far. I think the school should have known what, in terms of the time we are in now and the issues and the symbol that is, the school should have took that down. So
The campus police, too, were standing there watching it.
Right, but I think the students will get a pass, but they shouldn't be destroying public
Speaking
property.
of the people that put it up in 1913, the Daughters of Confederacy helped pay for that. My question to you guys is, the Southern Poverty Law Center said recently that the Daughters of Confederacy don't serve any purpose except supporting white supremacy. You guys, is there any place for a group like the Daughters of Confederacy anymore, Ogie?
They don't do much, Jim. They really don't. They're pretty much just these little old ladies that get together and drink tea and talk about the
Good old
sipping mint
days.
juleps on the front porch of the plantation.
Don?
Yeah, I think though in our country it's a free country, and if you want to have a group to talk about whatever it is, as long as you're not violent and you're not stepping on other people's business, rights, etc.
Should they be disbanded, Keith?
I don't know about being disbanded, but I don't say that they're a little group that just doing nothing, because a lot of times things sprout out of these groups. So if they are sprouting racist comments, whether they're black, white, or Indian, if they're spouting racist comments, they have to be dealt with. There's no place like that in this country.
All right, very quickly on this one, the North Carolina General Assembly has over 30 attorneys in its ranks, and most of them now want to help out in appointing judges. Quickly, Ogie, is that okay with you?
Not in any way is it okay. It's nothing but an errant power grab by the Republicans. All 5 of those amendments are nothing but a power grab because they know their time is going to be up in 2020.
Don Martin.
Well, there are a lot of ways to select judges, and I actually think an independent panel is better, and that seems to work in about half the states in this country. So I'd be in favor of more an arm's length from either the governor or the legislature.
Keith.
The governor was appointed to do these things. Why would the legislator take the power from the governor away? All 5 old governors from the past have gotten together and said
They
this
don't
is
want it.
wrong.
They don't
Nobody
want it.
wants this.
The new president of ESPN wants to avoid politics, so from now on, singing of the national anthem will not be shown before football games. Good idea or a sad cop-out, Ogie?
They really don't show it almost ever. I've watched it, and I had a friend sing the national anthem at a Panthers game, and they didn't show it.
Didn't
so
show
I
it.
don't think it's a big deal.
Don?
Yeah, I don't think it's a big deal either.
Keith?
I think it's a big deal. I think it's a cop-out. I mean, why would you not do that? I mean, these people are exercising their right, as we have talked about.
And you want to see
their
them
free
do that.
speech. If they want to do that, let them do it.
Brian is exercising his right over there by showing me a finger. What does that finger mean? How many? We got 2 minutes? All right, very quickly on this. John Hinckley, the man who tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan, his bullets eventually killed Jim Brady, now wants an unconditional release. He's been living with his mom with restrictions. Should he have unconditional release to roam around quickly, Ogie?
No, really not. You try to assassinate the president. I'm sorry.
Sicko. Don, quickly.
Well, I think it's been 30 some odd years. I think that's a decision that professionals have to make.
Keith?
First of all, he's still living with his mother.
Yeah.
Okay. The second thing is he tried to kill a living president, and,
right.
he killed
Brady.
Brady.
Right.
He should still be in prison.
Should be in prison. I agree with Keith. President Trump wants to create a new branch of the military called Space Force, which would be responsible for fighting wars in space. Quickly, guys, good idea or bad idea? Overman.
You know, when Trump misses an issue, which is every issue, he doesn't miss it by a little. He misses it by a lot.
by
I mean, that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of.
I don't think we have an Air Force. I think of the space is in the
Keith.
outside the air.
How about spending money on communities?
Well, because communities are too close to home. All right, now finally, the latest teenage craze involves jumping out of a moving car, dancing, and jumping back in the car. Guys, did you ever do stupid things when you were a kid, Ogie?
Oh, no, not me. No,
Why do I think you're
I'm
lying?
a clean guy.
I think you're telling the truth. Don.
I'm just going to say yes, I have done.
Keith.
But not jumping out of a moving car, I can tell you
No,
that. But
no.
I've done a lot of
You've
stupid
done a few
things. Yeah, my daughter too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
we'll find out after the show what those are. That's all the time for the 700th edition. Oh, except for this. It was recently reported that an Eastern European woman lives with and sleeps with a 300-pound bear. Said one reporter, I can't imagine an Eastern European woman sleeping with a 300-pound animal. I can, said Melania. I don't have anything.
That's our last show.
No, it's not. I don't have anything.
Hey, 700 was a
that could
good
be a
number.
compliment. That could be a compliment.
It's a
to
good
Mr.
number, 700.
Well, Mr. Trump may like that. I'm not against it. I like Melania. Don't you like Melania?
Yeah, she's
all right,
not bad.
for all of us here, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next time.